How's everyone doing today? I'm be talking about the latest Alien Earth episode that I watched today, and because it came out today, so obviously I would have watched it today. And I have thoughts. I have things I liked about the episode. There's quite a bit I actually liked about the episode, and then there's just some shit that I just didn't like the episode or didn't really make sense to me. Now, I'm gonna talk about the stuff that I did like. What I did like in this episode is I liked Boy Cavalier, the special Boy Cavalier, the fucking boy genius, young Einstein in his prime. Young Einstein, in primary school or in secondary school, whatever the fuck. I thought he was pretty cool in this episode. I really like this scene where he's meeting up with the one that looks like looks like a Kill Bill villain. And he's meeting up with them to have like a debate about, so you get to keep this pet alien dog, or do I get to keep this pet alien dog? They're basically having a debate on whether whose property, whose is who. And basically, Boy Cavalier shits all over her. He doesn't give her a chance to speak, bro. He has her on her knees, just begging me like, yo, here, okay, I'll give you 50 million if you just let me keep my precious aliens, And I love this attitude and shit. I like his attitude in general. At first, when I was watching the TV show, I was just thinking, this guy's a bit of a wanker. He's just a bit of a dickhead. You just think he's such a snobby little cunt, like Squilliam from SpongeBob or something. He just thinks he's better than everyone because he's smarter than everyone. And then as I watched this series more and more and more, I was just thinking, I kind of understand why he thinks that way. He doesn't seem like a complete asshole to me, but he seems more interesting. He seems more kind of like the things he says and things he does, like he's just doing it in calculations, doing what's necessary. He's pretty straight to the point. He doesn't really give a shit about anyone, to be honest. He doesn't really give a shit about his parents. From one of the scenes that I heard, he's thinking, oh yeah, parents are fucking assholes, bro. If I wish I was like Homelander, I could just laser them all as soon as I popped out the womb, you know what I mean? Or lasered my way out of my mom, he's kind of just like that. And in this episode, I really liked him, especially because he sort of just, in this one scene, when he's meeting up with your one to debate on whether who gets to keep the aliens and shit, he sort of just walks in giving absolutely no fucks, bro. It's like some dude, it's like a guest walking into your house with like soggy, dirty, mucky ass socks. He's wearing shirtless, he's just wearing jocks and socks, walking into your gaff and like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about what you think about me. I don't really give a shit if I'm supposed to be fully clothed or not. Or it's like your friend showing up to your gaff, he just sort of walks in with like fucking shit covered in boots or something. He didn't really care. He just put his legs up on the table like it was his own gaff at home. Like he's watching SpongeBob at home or whatever, and he's shitting all over her. Like she's there trying to be like, yeah, so it's actually like kind of my stuff and you have it and all. And he's like, hang the fuck on. Hang on. Your ship crashed into my Sim City and killed all my Sims. It killed a fuck ton of civilians. It injured them all, And then she's like, those aliens and shit don't belong to you. And then he's like, well, they are living. They don't really belong to anyone. And then she's like, yes, I will. And like she's demanding her ship and all. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you your ship if you want. And then she's like, and the aliens on board. He's like, nah. They're mine Pokemon. I caught them with my ball. They're kind of my prized possessions. They're my football trophies. If you know. And then she's like, alright, fine then. I'll give you 20 million if you I can't remember how much the fucking price was. I think it might have been 10 million. 10 billion. Oh yeah, it was 10 big fat bees, 10 big fat bitches, 10 big fat bees, 10 big fat $1 billion she'd give to Boy Cavalier to have to her species back. And he's like 20 billion, and he's like 50 million, he's like 25. He's just constantly going up and up. He was not giving down, he wasn't backing down. He's like, I kind of fuck with him like that. He kind of just stands his ground. He doesn't really seem to give that much of a shit at all. And she's like 50 billion, and I have the things immediately. He's like, nah. They're grounded for 6 weeks. They're on timeout. They're in detention for 6 weeks because there's like this whole quarantine thing where like he has to keep him for 6 weeks, and then she gives him back to him. She still has to give him 25 billion. So yeah, but I said in 6 weeks they would have already found out all the information they needed about like the aliens and creatures and all. They would have had something to use against Whale Mutani. So I really fuck with that guy in this episode. I also fuck with his right hand man Kirsch. I know he's not really that as important to like to other characters like Wendy and Boy Cavalier and the medic, I guess. But I think he seems like pretty interesting. I think he's kind of like Boy Cavalier, except he's kind of like not as dickish. He seems pretty straightforward. I like the conversation that they had, that he had between Wendy. He's like, oh yeah, so or the medic actually, they're like talking about Wendy. He's like, oh yeah, she's like this potential, bro. She's like up there with all the fucking Apple features and all. You just want to take her home. You just want to, take pictures of yourself and put it on your Instagram story, bro. You can do so much more. He's kind of like talking about Wendy. He's like, oh, you just want to take Wendy home when she can go into space and shit like fucking Neil Armstrong? What is wrong with you? What are you talking about? And I also actually really I think I like how him and the cyborg now, Kwame, I can't remember her name, fucking Kiwi Koala, I don't know what his name is. He's a cyborg. He's a pretty cool character. I like the back and forth they're having. So he's basically like they're being racist toward the cyborgs, like, look at you, fucking half cyborg toaster piece of shit. You're like half a fucking man and you're half a fucking can opener. Like, you're disgusting. You putrid abomination. Ugh, what is wrong with you? And this is actually where I found out that Kirsch was a fully robot, because I didn't know, because watching this series before this episode, I didn't know whether if he was full on synth or if he was full on fucking meat sack like me and you. But then I found out, I was like, he's a robot. I'm like, oh shit, he kind of seemed human to me, I'm not gonna lie. And then the dude basically, he like made a threat to him. I don't know if this was a threat to him, but he basically just made statements like, yeah, do you know what I like about killing robots like yous? They don't know, they can't feel pain, bro. So like, if I poke them with a fucking knife, it'd be the same as if I poked them with my fingy. It wouldn't make a difference to them shit. I can just continue cutting and cutting. I can continue chopping them into little sushi bits, and then the fucking dude Kirsch just replied with, is it the pain what makes it more satisfying? Hearing them scream, hearing them be like, stop, don't put the knife up my butthole, or hearing the squelching, feeling the fucking muscles, feeling the little meatball fucking muscles crushing between your arms and tearing through them. It's not what makes it more satisfying. They're basically just having their back and forth, and I love how like Kirsch is like instigated that immediately. He like chose to go onto the fucking elevator. It just kind of seems to me like Kirsch, Boy Cavalier and his two right hand men don't really give a fuck. I also kind of like Kwame. He seemed more ruthless in this episode as well. I'm like, man was not holding back. He still had fucking slightly by the balls, bro. He had his balls with one hand, the other just stretching it out like a fucking stick of Play-Doh. In one of the episodes, he raised slightly up or some shit. He touched his neck and put some in there so he could communicate whenever the fuck he feels like. It's like a fucking phone lodged into his neck, like a Bluetooth device is ready to pair, except he has full on control whenever he can talk to Slightly. So if Slightly's asleep, Kwame can be like, hey, wakey, you're pissing yourself again, bro. You might want to grab the piss bucket again, yeah? You can just do that. And in this episode, he's kind of just like more of an asshole, I guess, because he has this thing with Slightly where he's trying to force Slightly to get someone to like near the fucking the ovomorphs. I don't know why I call them by their actual name. They're just calling these xenomorph eggs. He wants someone to get impregnated by a xenomorph egg so he can bring back a xenomorph to Weyland-Yutani. And basically how he's doing that to Slightly is he's basically holding his fucking parents hostage, which is fucked. He's like, in one of the lines he says, which I thought was pretty fucking cold, and the way his voice sounds kind of suits, is like, do you want to say goodbye to your parents before they die? And then Slightly just immediately starts crying. It's like, no, please, don't kill me, please, I'm sorry, I beg you for forgiveness, please just give me one more chance. I'll get someone to be the fucking mother to this alien. I'll get someone to get deep throated by the fucking, I'll get someone to shift the fucking face hugger, please, anything but seeing my fucking parents in a coffin, I thought it was fucking cold and fucked. It's like, I like Kwame's character because he's also really straight to the point. I don't know, I think I just fuck with characters that are just straightforward and real. Like, Kwame just seems really cold and ruthless, but he kind of just does it to get the mission done. Although I will say he is kind of like, he's just seemed like a little bit of a good boy to Weyland-Yutani. He's like doing whatever it takes to be their a top A class student or some shit, but he's still a pretty cool character. He might be one of my favorites actually. I think he's really sick. And he kind of just puts Slightly in making tough, risky situations and shit. Now we're gonna get onto the things I didn't like about this episode. And one of the main things I didn't really like about this episode is where it's going with the xenomorphs. No, we fucking come across Wendy being able to communicate with the xenomorphs in their own language. And I think it's cool. She's able to talk to the xenomorphs and shit. The xenomorphs are able to talk. But it seems like she's making one of the xenomorphs her pet. I'm just thinking, what the fuck is this bullshit? Since when did the xenomorph become a neuter German Shepherd? When did the xenomorph become a little obedient golden retriever? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I swear the xenomorphs were portrayed as, oh, killing machines. They're supposed to be like fucking Terminator. They'll kill on sight. They don't give a shit who you are, bro. They don't give a shit if you're fresh out the pussy, bro. They'll kill you if they think you're a viable host for the facehugger. But then in this episode, just seems like, hey, good boy, come here. You want to cheat? Like, putting the fucking biscuit on top of their nose or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a disgrace to the xenomorph. So, like we got in the last episode, the xenomorph was basically some dude in a suit just fucking around. And now in this one, it's just some fucking dog, a new puppy that's just being trained by its new owner. I'm like, where's the killer instinct? Where's the killing machine in this shit? Like, come on, like, the xenomorph's supposed to be, you know, all grr, angry, I'm gonna fucking tear you in half. Now it's all grr, you can tear me in half. I'm like, whoa, what is this bullshit, bro? The xenomorph's been nerfed beyond comprehension. I swear by this point of the show, the xenomorph has lost all aura, bro. All of its aura has went down the drain. All of its aura has just, like, fucking been Thanos snapped out of existence, because it seems more or less than a killing machine and more than just like a regular fucking creature and animal. Which I thought what made it more unique was its killer instinct, its ability to be like, immediately when it sees someone, it just kind of is like with me when I see a fly or die long, it's just immediately fucking bang, I killed you, I don't like you, get the fuck out of my way, you know? But now it's just like, oh, I'll get out of your way, yeah, sorry master, yeah, I'll do what you say, yeah, you know? I don't know, I don't like where it's going, and I think this is the direction the show is going. I don't really like it. At first I kind of thought it was cool, but then I was thinking, here, it's not even the xenomorph anymore, it's just the pussy morph, like, what are we doing here? And then some of the decisions in this, that were kind of fucking stupid, especially with, like, Toodle, I think his name is, I don't know, bro, it sounds like Noodle, bro, it sounds like something like A today. He's like one of the boys that Karsh really trusts. So Karsh was gone on like he's like gone to this fucking conference with year one, and I think he's coming back. And while he's coming back, he basically gives Noodles orders, be like, yo, so go feed the creatures, go check what experiments we have to do, go do this shit, go do that shit, go fucking clean the toilet, go scrub this guy's ass, go clean my room, and go fucking polish my trophies, you know, that type of stuff. And when he's feeding one of the specimens, shit goes wrong. He tries to open the door. He tries to open the little feeding hatch, and he actually ends up ripping the door hatch off, because the little door off, because I don't know, just got super glued to the fucking wall or some shit. It was jammed, and he kind of ripped it off. So you have to like, I think, unlock the doors to the containment cell so you can go in and feed it, give the specimen his food. And this is where I've just seen one of the most dumbest decisions in this whole show so far, in my opinion. He opens the door, and instead of just like having the tray of food and just dropping there, just throwing in there real quick and then closing the door real quick, because like it's a fucking dangerous specimen. You'd want to be there in and out like a fucking, like your dad going get the mill, like in and out, like, you know, you'd want to be there quick. But I don't fucking know why, but he just goes into the room and he tries to like get his full body. He like fully goes into the room just to drop the food there. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Is this an anonymous meeting for drugs, for junkies and alcoholics? Like, oh yeah, hey, I'm Noodles, bro, I'm new to this group, you know. You're just going in there to shake hands with the specimen. Like, are you gonna go in there to play checkers with the specimen? Are you gonna have like a fucking Uno game with the specimen in the containment cell? Like, what are you doing, bro? You could have just simply just dropped the food on the floor and then just left. And that's actually what gets him killed. The specimen comes out and he has like this Squidward nose thing, this elephant nose, and he flies onto the guy, and he's like thinking, oh yeah, you're good, yeah. And then he just gets sprayed on, and he's like, the guy starts melting, he starts short circuit, he starts seizuring, his milk and PVA glue blood starts leaking out everywhere. And I'm just thinking, this could have been prevented if you simply would just drop the food and go. Even when the bug landed on him, I still feel like he still had like ample time to do something. Like, I'd understand he's like frozen in shock and terror, like because something just landed on his arm. So you'd want to be as still and as calm as possible. You know, it's like a fucking tarantula scaling your face like you're Mount Vesuvius or some shit. You know, you'd want to be really still and calm so it doesn't attack you, get provoked. But it's not like this thing was like directly on top of him or whatever. It's like just standing on his legs, and he's a synth, so he could have just easily fucking walloped it away and sent it flying like a fucking tennis ball to the other side of the room and then left. But he sort of just stood there and sort of looking at it as if he's just gonna like start like talking to her some shit, like, hey, I'm Toodles, I sound like Poodle, and I'm also sound like Noodles. I'm going to take a poodle on the ground because you're scaring me. Like, you know, I feel like his death was just a bit dumb, and it's kind of bad right on that part. They just need to do some to progress. And something that I don't really have a complaint about, something a bit confusing, is when Kirsch saw that on the cameras, he didn't really seem to have a reaction or something. He's just more or less confused. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? He just died. Very interesting. Also, another question I have is, there's a scene in one of the episodes where he notices on the camera the confrontation that Kwame has between Slightly. He notices that Kwame puts someone on Slightly's neck, but he never confronts Slightly. He never tells Boy Cavalier anything about it. He never tells anyone about it. He kind of just keeps it a secret to himself. So I'm just like wondering, does he have like different plans for this? Does he want to see how it plays out? I don't know. I thought like the second he would have found out something was up, he would have immediately told Boy Cavalier so they could avoid being spied on by the other by Wailing Yutani or whatever. And he didn't really approach Slightly as well. The most he done is just start asking questions and all. Maybe he's trying to catch him out or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was just kind of my take on the newest Alien episode. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like where it's going with fucking Wendy being a doll owner to these xenomorphs. I think it's a bit cringe. I think it's a bit goofy. Why the fuck are we turning xenomorphs into little chihuahuas? What are we doing? They're not really killers anymore. They're just fucking just little animals. I think it's cool how they're introducing more newer you know, creatures. Like fucking, I forgot to mention as well, Tio Celis really showed his intelligence in this one as well. So, but that's really only because fucking the Noodles, whatever. I can't fucking remember what his name is. Toodles, bro. Toodaloo sounds like a fucking Pops quote, bro. Was Pops in the right name, these characters? But yeah, I like how Tio Celis is really smart in this one as well. So like when Toodles is holding a door open with his legs and he's putting the food onto the floor, Tio Celis kind of takes his time to kind of ball charge at the fucking windshield, like bonk it, so it scared Toodles and he'd trap him in there. I thought that was really smart. He's just trying to get them killed. He's systematically fucking things up, and you can also notice he's just standing there observing them. He's really being smart about it. He's really observing. He's really like studying them. He's really trying to see, alright, so how can I fuck shit up? How can I be the party pooper and shit all over these guys? You know, I think that's really cool. I think Tio Celis is really cool in this show. I also thought the flight thing was alright. We didn't really get to see much of it. To me, it just kind of seemed like it could just spray acid. That's it. I guess that's cool. It has a pretty freaky ass design, bro. It just has a flaccid fucking cock nose. It's a pretty weird design. It's really creepy and unsettling to me. But yeah, Jesus Christ, I spent nearly 20 minutes yapping about this episode. But yeah, hope you did enjoy this video. See you later.